Hi there. Thanks for having me tonight, and I have to tell you, I'm very nervous. I have been working for MREC for about 5 years now, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about how working at MREC has impacted me personally and what I see in what we do. I grew up in a very noisy family of 9 with 7 kids in the house. It was chaos all the time. But when my father's truck pulled in the driveway, you could hear a pin drop. My father's temper was one that you didn't forget and everyone in the neighborhood knew. And we learned very early to obey. And even my mother learned to obey. I'll share with you one story. I was 6 years old and waiting for my brother to get home to take me to get my first pair of glasses. I was so excited that I was actually going to be able to see well. Well, that day, my father had been picking nonstop on my mother. And I remember my 16-year-old brother came down the steps, and he looked at my father, and he said, "You're going to stop picking on her. Just leave her alone." And my heart was beating so fast, kind of like it is right now. And my father took off after my brother. They raced past me up the steps and into the bedroom, and I could hear my father's fist just raining down on my brother. And my mother was screaming, "Somebody stop him, he's gonna kill your brother, he's gonna kill your brother." And right about that time, my oldest brother, Dick, walked into the house, the one I'd been waiting for to go get my glasses. And my mother said, "You have to stop him, he's gonna kill your brother." And my oldest brother, who was very terrified of my father, wasn't gonna challenge him, so he picked up a chair and pitched it through the plate glass window. And there was an explosion of glass. And suddenly, it was silence. My father came down the steps. I could hear his boots coming. And just like that, it was over. Calmly, he said to me, "Go get a dustpan and a broom and clean this glass up." And so I started cleaning up, but then I realized that my oldest brother, who had pitched the chair, had taken off and was gone. He didn't come back for over a week because he was so terrified. But that's how things were in my house. My father told every one of us 7 kids every day of our life, "You'll never amount to nothing." And that's how we felt we were. We thought we were worthless. And we had no example of how a marriage should be or what it should look like. So when I moved out of the house, I was trying to put myself through college and working full-time right after graduation. And I met a man who showed attention to me, and it was the first attention I'd had in my life. So I married him pretty quickly, married him, thinking I met a savior. But just like you hear about all the time, you end up marrying your own father. And I remember the day I decided to leave. He was dragging me up the steps by my hair, and I was like, "I'm not staying." And after I left, I felt like such a failure because I had vowed to God that I was going to stay with this man, and I had let God down. And in the one thing I did grow up with, because of my grandmother, was God in my life. And I felt like I shouldn't even live. I was so worthless. And on the day that I tried to commit suicide, I remember waking up in the hospital with a police officer at the foot of my bed who knew that committing suicide is against the law. So they ordered me into counseling, which saved my life. I realized that I did have self-worth and that I would be okay. But I didn't want to meet another man. But then I started working at Port City Press in Baltimore, and I met my husband, Dan. And I fell in love with him so fast. And within a year, we were married. And looking back, I think that my husband inherited so much baggage, and I feel so bad for him. We would get into an argument like any couple would do, and I would duck. And it would hurt him so bad, and he would say, "I would never hit you, never. Why do you duck?" But I was relearning everything. I did not know how you were supposed to behave. And I think that is how many couples are. They grow up, and especially children of divorce, that don't see how a marriage should be. And I think about how different things would have been for me if I had had MREC in my life. If they had come to my high school like they go to the high schools today, I would have learned the red flags of a bad relationship. I would have learned so many things that showed me how to behave in a relationship skills. And then if I'd known about MREC, Dan and I probably would have gone to preparing for marriage classes, and we would have learned about the 5 love languages, and we would have learned about money habitudes, a card game that teaches you how to get together and decide how to spend your finances and how to realize the importance of what one person wants to buy or the other. It's just an amazing program. I think we probably would have gone on date nights with them, and we would have gone to marriage conferences, and it would have made it so much easier. But somehow, even without them, we've been together 41 years, and my husband is the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. But I think that if you learn how to treat each other with respect, it lasts through everything. If you learn relationship skills, then you're going to pass them on in your school life, in your home life, in your marriage, in the workplace, everywhere. Those skills of learning how to be respectful in a relationship and how to look for things that strengthen a relationship, they make a difference. And now, today, working at MREC, I see the testimonials that come into us. Like the time I'll never forget the girl who wrote to us and said that because of you, I realized there are red flags in my relationship, and she broke up with her boyfriend. And she said something so powerful. She said, my parents are divorced, and I wish they could take this class. And I thought, wow, we really are making a difference. And I think about the couple that came to us who husband had PTSD. And they were trying to navigate through such rough waters, but they came back again and again, and I know they met with some counselors, and they came to preparing for marriage, and they worked things out, and they're still together, and their children are still seeing a family unit that's together in the home. I think that these things are all, like if you learn good relationship skills as a student, you pass that on into your marriage, your children learn it, they go out into the community, and just like Johnny Appleseed, they spread those seeds everywhere, and they are the building blocks of a strong community. And I really hope that you will think about partnering with us and joining us in this battle, and that through my story, maybe you'll see the value in what we offer. And I hope you'll help support us so that other couples like me can find their way. And I appreciate so much that you gave me time to share my story, and thanks for coming tonight.